And we are live. Hey guys, I'm here today with John Watson, horror author extraordinaire. He's from Scotland, and you're going to see that real quick. Well, originally Scotland, right?
Really quick.
Really quick. First few words. John
That's
is
what,
crazy.
that's what,
There you go. He's a Crazy Ink exclusive author. What do you have now? 3 books? Off the Grid.
yeah, 3
Karaoke
standalone
night.
and 2 short stories in anthology.
Got it. You've done a lot in a quick, short amount of time. You've been with Crazy Ink for like a year?
June 20th is when Karaoke Night first came out.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Very good. So you're almost on a book birthday. That's awesome.
Yeah.
True. I'm terrible at remembering those. Hi, Michelle. I don't know if you can see her, John.
No, don't see anything.
No? Okay. Well, when comments come, I'll read them.
There we go. I can see it now. Just have live comments.
Okay. Cool. So John, why don't you just go for it? Tell us a little bit about what got you into writing, why you love to write, just the overview of who is this horror guy.
Well, the funny thing is, I started writing probably when I was about 12 or 13. I say seriously writing, but actually kind of thinking about it a little bit. But it started before that. I read all the time. My mom read a lot of books, and she would give me the books she finished. Like Agatha Christie was my first love. I read all the Agatha Christie books, and I got a library card. And I would finish a book and go, I wonder what happens after this story's over. And I would start kind of creating ideas in my head, and then I would take pieces of paper, 5 or 6 pieces of paper, fold it over, and then draw a cover, and then try and fill the pages with a story based on the book that I just read. But none of it was horror. But I did love horror movies. Me and my mom used to Friday nights, we'd sit and watch the little black and white double features on Friday night. But it probably wasn't until maybe 10 years ago I started kind of seriously writing about horror.
Wow.
I mean, look at my tattoos, I'm all covered in horror stuff, but I never
show us a couple of your tattoos that are horror related.
Pumpkin head there. It's hard to get an angle here.
Yeah, I know it is. I'm making you do stunts here.
Christopher Lee Dracula there. And actually, there's a story behind. Let me tell you this little story. At the bottom here, it says, "Thanks for the late nights, Mom."
And that's sweet.
That goes back to those days when we would watch the horror movies, and when she passed. So all the horror stuff is basically a tribute to my mom.
Neat. Was she still alive when you got them? Like, how did she feel about it?
No. I had one little tattoo up here that I had for her. She was like, "Will you ever get a tattoo? I'll kill you if you get a tattoo." And I got one, and it says, it's like a line, and it says Scotland forever. And I got it done, had it for years. And then it was one day we were out in summer, and I kind of took my shirt off, and she went, "What's up there?" Screaming at me. And then she looked and she went, "Oh, okay, that's quite nice."
Oh, that's good. So it worked out. You got her on the other side.
Eventually.
Yeah. Okay, so with me, when I was young and read a lot, I loved the Choose Your Own Adventure books. Did they have that out in Scotland?
I think I read one of those, but I would get frustrated because it wouldn't end the way I wanted. For the same thing, I would go, well, what would be a better ending, or what would be that was always in my head? What would be a better ending? What would be a better way for this to go? So it's always been that for me. Even now, I read a book and go, well, what I would have done here was,
Yeah.
It's just I always think about how it could be better or how it could be different. Not better, but different.
Different. Yeah, your way. Or, I mean, your voice. Or Yep. I do the same thing. And for me, it was those Choose Your Own Adventures. I was maybe I'm a control freak. I don't know, but I was just like, you're ruining it, and those aren't the right choices. I want different choices.
Right. Yeah. And it's the same with, I read any book and I get frustrated if it takes a turn that I expect. I like to take a turn that I don't expect. That's when to me a book is interesting and exciting, when you go, oh, I didn't see that coming. So that's what I try and do when I write. I try and put stuff in there that you just don't expect at all. Usually at the end, I usually try and give a bit of a big surprise ending.
I like that too. I mean, I think that those twisty endings are great. But the trouble I have sometimes is when the author does not put those seeds, they have to have those seeds that make that ending make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to throw it off.
Little trail of breadcrumbs leading to the, yeah.
Drives me nuts.
And, you know, like Penny, that's my wife. She's great at finding them. She will say, "Oh, I see what you did there." And I'll say, "What do you mean?" She'll say, "This," and it's like, "Oh, okay, yeah, you're catching it."
Yeah, that's one of those super fan readers, wife or not, those readers that can like really follow what you're doing are priceless.
How my head works, you know, like, because I always, even when I'm not writing, even just talking, but I go off all over the place. So she knows how, you know, I'm a little bit mental about how it all works.
You're in the right place, John. No judgment here. Michelle, can you do me a favor and share this link to this video in Inklings promo? And John, I don't know what your settings are like, but if it's something you're allowed to do in John's group, because that would help us tremendously.
I think you probably post in my group. I don't think. Yeah, you can post in my author page. I don't have it set up any
author page. Yeah. Or if Diana's, I don't know if Diana's here or not, but maybe she could do it. But somebody that would help us get people in here for questions and stuff later.
Yeah.
In the meantime, with you, what are you working on right now? I want to hear what John is up to these days.
Right now it's something very different. It's called Be Kind Rewind, and it was a short story I wrote years ago. I mean, when I say short, it was like a flash fiction, basically like 500 words. But it was always something I always wanted to go back to and kind of flesh out. So it's very different from what I do. It really is more of a love story. There's kind of little supernatural elements in there, but definitely far removed from, you know, the blood and guts horror that I like. So it's kind of a palate cleanser before my Creature Features book, because that's going to be bad.
Is it still horror though? I'm sure. I believe you.
There's going to be a scene in that one that are going to make people probably a little pissed at me. It's going to be bad. Reactions. I ran it by Penny, and she's like, "You can't write that." It's like, well, I'm gonna.
Oh, poor Penny. She tries so hard to keep you in check, and it only works very few times, not often.
Although she did stop me writing one. I think it's even before Crazy Ink. I was writing a story, and I told her the concept, and she goes, "That's no, you can't write that. That's terrible." And I thought about it, and I went, "No, I probably can't." I set it aside. It's still there, though. I still have the bones of it, so I might go back to it. But it was, for me, it was like, maybe it's a little much. Maybe a little much.
Yeah. I don't know. I think with me, if I had one that was a little much, it would haunt me until I finally did it. Even if I did it and didn't publish it, because I'd feel like I did it. I'm just that rebel, you know?
Yeah, and that's the way this one is. It still taps at me now and again to the back of the head, like, don't forget me. You know, so I'll probably will eventually do it, but whether I publish it or not, I don't know. But I'll probably write it.
Yeah, whether anyone sees it, but PI. Yeah. So
I might write it like a short and just stick it in the back of one of my books or something like that. Kind of as an afterthought.
Use it for bonus content or teaser or a special thing for just your like alpha readers. Something like that could be cool. Yeah,
that's a good idea.
People won't block you after they read it and say you're sick.
I can't go to bed in the bedroom door to lock.
Oh gosh. All right. So why horror versus what I'm always pushing, which is multi-genre? I want to hear why I stick with one genre take.
No matter what I write, it ends up veering off dark. I try and write, like I started writing a book for my kids again years ago. It's about 3/4 done, and it's like a YA detective novel with these two guys called Bangers and Mash. We're talking about foods, and how bands use food for their names and stuff like that. And I said, Bangers and Mash would be a great name for a pair of detectives. And it just kind of went from there. And I told them when they were kids, I would tell them bedtime stories. I'd make stuff up. I'd make characters up, make little towns up. So it was all spread around these two little towns. So it was all based on that, but it ended up having a real supernatural vibe to it as well. But still kind of, YA. That's another one I would love to get back and finish. But again, everything I write ends up going a little, what was a kid's story became a little bit dark, even though kind of stupid at times, but it's still really dark. So I try, but it always ends up feeding back to the horror in one way or another.
Did your kids have nightmares? I mean, were the bedtime stories dark as well?
No, they were pretty. I kept them pretty light. My daughter's probably, she's what, 22 now, and she's probably even darker than me in terms of what she likes. The video games, she plays a lot of video games, all horror video games, and she doesn't read a lot. She buys my books, which is nice, without me having to give her money as well. That's fantastic. But
yeah, that's nice. It's not, Dad, give me money so I can buy your book. I love it.
That book was great. Can you give me 20 bucks? Yeah.
I'm not trying to interrupt you. I just want to, Michelle, will you go message Kim, Kat, or Amish? Any of those three are admins in all of my groups, and they can approve it. That would be awesome, at least in promo and whatever. John, she needs you to approve a post in your group if you want. I mean, or not.
I can probably do it now.
You can always do it later. Yeah. Hi, Mom. We're getting people in here, John, slowly but surely.
Yeah, see that now.
All right. So, yeah, Mom's here, and Michelle's posting these all over, but they all need approval. So, we're a mess.
You can catch it.
Thanks, Michelle. All right. So, Be Kind, Rewind. Are you telling me right now that's like all romance? I mean, obviously dark, but not horror?
I wouldn't go romance. It's a love story. It's definitely a love story. There's, like I said, there's a supernatural element to it. For me, what I see as horror is what scares me. It doesn't necessarily have to be, death terrifies me. So this deals very heavily with death. Losing my wife terrifies me more than anything. So the story is going to be basically the loss and how that person deals with the loss and what happens after that, and it gets kind of goes off the rails after that a little bit.
That sounds right up my alley.
At the heart, it's a love story.
Wow. All right. Well, I'm really excited to see how that plays out. I want to check out the blurb. Did you send the blurb yet? You must have. We have the cover.
Yeah.
I want to check that out. I don't remember it being that way, and I had a whole different idea. I don't know. In my brain, there's things coming out of a VCR, but obviously that's not what it is at all.
Well, the VCR is one of the main characters. I mean, the couple are trapped in the past. So it opens up at their house. Their house is this bright orange door, and you walk in, and it's the really terrible wallpaper and the old TV and the old VCR. And so at the start, it's seen through the daughter's eyes, and it becomes a story about the mother and father and their kind of love and how it's evolved. And I'll tell you a little. I know a lot of people like kind of look behind the scenes things. When I started writing it, when I write, I get an idea in my head. I have to have a beginning, middle, end in my head before I can start writing it. And then it colors out from when I start typing. The first time the mother and the piece spoke, the main character spoke, she was my mother. She was my mother. The first line that she said was something my mom would say, and all of a sudden she became Scottish, and so she built from one line in my head what she was going to be.
Wow. So this book's going to be special.
Now I'm thinking of my mother passing and my wife passing, so it's made it actually easier to write. My goal is to make
easier in a way. I mean, that's
my goal is to make Kat actually maybe shed one little tear. Just one. Yeah.
Wow. That is going to make the book better, though. And I think sometimes when we struggle to write it because it's really close to home, those are the best books because people can sense that. Readers know, wow, this is you're.
Everything I write has a little element of either me or one of my family members in it. There's a little bit of them, and it makes it easier.
It does. My current whip is about a true story. And one of the reasons I like writing the true stories is because there's really not much thinking involved. It's, you're obviously changing things and timelines and stuff, but it's really easy because that person's already built for you, you know?
Well, that was when I wrote the Dahmer short story for Infamy. It was the same thing. It was like, there's so much content to pull from.
Yeah.
Almost with that one. That was one I almost messaged you and said, I can't write this. Because the more you research and the more you go, oh, mate, I don't want to write about this guy. So
yeah, he's not real.
I thought the best way to do it was to I knew how I knew the idea that I had. It's like, how do I make him really, really rotten from the start? So I had him as a 14-year-old boy cutting the head off a dog. That was the opening line in the story. And that's what he did. That was something he did. So it's like, okay, I want to justify from the very start how awful this is going to be and how awful he is, and then just go from there. I didn't want to make him anyways a redeeming character at all. I wanted to make him rotten from start to finish.
Yeah.
And so the way for me to do it was to have him cut the head off a dog in the opening line of the story.
Yeah. There's not much worse. I mean, I guess a baby, but all right. Here's a question I'm dying to ask you.
Now we're getting to my creature.
Your other idea? Yeah, we come from the same world.
Babies.
All right, John. What is the biggest misconception about horror authors out there?
I think the biggest misconception, and a lot of the authors do it to themselves, is that you're overly serious and you're overly. I mean, you look at the bio pictures for authors, and it's all the face half hidden and in the dark, and that's not me at all. You know, I mean, guys probably see it online, they probably expect something else. But when I'm online doing social media, like I like to post funny gifs, I like to make funny comments, and have fun. So it's not like I'm just kind of brooding. I just don't. I think you do yourself a little bit of a disservice by doing that, because people expect you to be. They don't really get to know you,
right?
Unless those guys are like that all the time. But you follow Stephen King, and he's funny, and he's very light. A lot of his posts, he's not what you would think,
Right.
So I think that's probably the biggest one. Is that it's just I don't sit at home in the dark all day drinking blood and scowling and.
You're not a vampire? What'll that sound?
No, vampires are beautiful. Look at this.
Yeah, pasty white. I know. I feel like a vampire. We never leave the building anymore. This is.
That's what this whole thing is. Well, what's funny though with this whole thing was I thought, well, this would be easy. I go out once a week. This is easy.
Yeah.
But it's like I told you before, when that option to go out was taken away. After 2 weeks, I was saying, I just want to get out of the house and other people. And
I'm with you.
What I discovered through this is that I'm probably more of a people person than I thought. I don't like people. I'm not a people person. Then I find that I miss people, and it's like, I just want to go hug everyone. It's like, come here. It's like, derail yourself first.
It's funny. People think that introverts don't necessarily like people. It's not true. You can have an INSJ personality type that absolutely loves people. They just value that alone time too, and the quiet, and that's just how they process. It doesn't mean they don't like people.
That's always been me. Very much. I'm very comfortable in my own company.
Yeah, I am too.
I guess I would say I love a small group of people. I get a very small group of people that I have as friends and kind of let in fully. I got a lot of acquaintances, but real friends, a handful at best.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you wanna have that trust and that comfort level, and all that, but that doesn't mean you don't like people just because you're sort of more closed. I don't know, but we talk about it a lot in therapy land. And I honestly had the same reaction. I'm like, wow, I didn't think I was going to miss the world so much. I thought this is going to be great. All I'm going to do is write.
I'll write all day. I'll walk around in my pajamas. I do that anyways, but I never get to go out.
Yeah, well, you don't usually know how I'm dressed either. Trust me.
It's usually a ratty t-shirt and a pair of gym shorts. That's my work.
No, it doesn't seem like it's going to be a lot of change, but it's amazing how much has changed. Just even being able to go, like yesterday, I had this whole situation. I went to hold the door open for this guy, and I just common courtesy is coming in, and then I'm like, he looked at me like I was trying to give him, you know, a disease. And I'm like, oh, sorry, I forgot. I'm going to totally kill you.
Our kind of local bar, they've kind of opened up. The setup they have is great. It's all, they've got like a side window where you go pick up your food and your drink and everything's, they've got marks on the ground 6 feet apart. The tables are all 6 feet apart. See, I told you this would fall off. But it still feels weird. It feels weird out there because you're out with people, but you're not with them. You're kind of still seeing them at like at a distance. And
yeah, that's what it was like. I was like, okay, I'm trying to hold the door for you, but he's looking at me like I'm trying to kill him. And then I'm like, okay, so it was this really awkward moment that was probably 4 feet apart. And I'm like, I just screwed that up. The guy feels like I invaded him. What?
Take a big stick and poke people. The worst was we went grocery shopping on Sunday and we were in there and it wasn't particularly busy. I started to like really panic because you're seeing people, you know, picking stuff up and putting it back and they're all really close and no one's really paying attention. And I'm going, God's sake, by the time I said to Penny, I said, we got to go because I was starting to like really kind of put myself out and hyperventilate a little bit. I said, we got to get out here. I can't be in here. This is in your head. What's my problem is, you know, if something is very simple, I get it in my head and start taking it to the worst possible place.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we got to get out. We got to get out here.
Yeah, anxiety. It's no fun. I have it too, and it's awful. We've got quite a few people in here. Apparently, Marin coughed at TJ Maxx, trying to kill everyone, obviously, like she does, you know, while wearing my mask. And a lady told the cashier on me. Literally just happened. See, Marin's trying to kill everybody. That's what she's doing.
I can believe that.
She told the cashier you coughed? Like, what's the cashier supposed to do? Like, yell at you? See, guys, this is fodder for another horror book. I don't know where it would even go. I don't know. I feel like we're living in a book right now, and it's not even the real world, but what are you going to do?
It's crazy. I've never seen anything. I mean, I'm 52 years old. I've never seen anything like this. Nothing.
No, it's insane. All right, your next plan. No, you know what? I'm not even going to talk about your next plan. Jenny Olsen. I want to talk about Jenny Olsen.
Jenny Olsen's giving me some problems.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how much I can say about this book because, you know, it's not really been, I'm not sure if it's kind of a secret, the whole thing. Or
no, we can talk about it. I don't do secrets. I think. Yeah, then go for it.
Jenny's making me mental a little bit. I know her story. The thing is, I've never written first person. Never written first person.
Okay.
I know her story, but it sounds weird, but she's not talking to me yet. You know? So I got about 2,000 words in, scrapped it completely. Didn't even back it up, didn't save it.
Oh, John.
Hated
Never do that. Bad choice making.
I know, I'm terrible. This fucking, I've got to put, see, and then there's the first fuck of the day. Yeah, it's just, it's more the process of writing first person. Don't know how to do it. Never done it. So I'm reading the first Dresden Files book by Jim Butcher. It's first person past. I went, okay, I'll read that and get an idea of how it's kind of structured. So I was making it a little bit too hard on myself, was what I was doing. I was putting too much pressure on the actual writing part of it instead of just get the story down and be done with it. The story's in my head, the story's done. I know what she's going to be. I know her history, but it's her voice and how she's going to say it is where, because I have to be her, basically.
Yeah, you have to be her. But can you write it in third person and then just go back and change it? Would that be an easier way, or is that just annoying?
No, that would annoy me.
That would annoy you. I've done that when I'm learning.
I'm not big on editing at all. I edit as I go. Like people go, I'm on my third draft. When I'm finished, what people would consider my first draft is basically my third or fourth because I write a page and go back and change it then. I do that too. I don't take out chunks of paragraphs or chunks of text because I don't mean it to sound kind of arrogant or anything, but usually the first thing that comes out of my head is onto the paper is the best it's going to be. When I start changing it, I start overthinking shit and it becomes a mess. Then I get lost in the story. I get like, I don't know where to go with this now. When it was the basic framework was fine as it was. So I page at a time, I go back, read it. No, that's not good. That's not good. Mistake. There, boom. Next page, and do it that way. So
Yeah,
by the
I do
time
that
I finish
similarly.
it, one more read through, and then I can send it in.
Now, does Penny read each book before you send it, like as a beta reader, or sometimes no?
She helps a lot. She tries. With her traveling now, it's
Yeah.
impossible. She was the one karaoke night. I wrote it. I did it for NaNoWriMo, so I knew there was going to be a shit ton of mistakes. I was just going to tear through it. There was going to be a shit ton of mistakes. Yep. So I finished it. I let it sit for probably a week. Printed off a hard copy, put it in a folder, gave it to Penny. She read it and kind of went, "Okay, here." She would just say, "Here's." I said, "Don't just tell me all the mistakes. Just read it and tell me what you think of the story." Because she'll tell me if something doesn't work or if it needs. It's like, I didn't really buy that. She'll. There's no, "Oh, that's great, honey." It's just like, no, I didn't like this part. I don't get this part. I don't know what you're trying to do there. That one she tore through it pretty quick and loved it. Oh my God, with these glasses.
Sorry. Mom's asking why it needs to be in first person. So Jenny Olsen is a character from a entwined anthology we're working on called Murder Maker. And it's about 6 characters that are going to enter a writer's workshop with a well-known horror author, sort of based off Stephen King, who is actually terminally ill, and is going to basically hand them his legacy, whoever can survive this workshop. So each of the authors that is writing in this anthology needs to write about their experiences and backstory leading up to their arrival at this Murder Maker mansion workshop place thing. So everybody has to write in the same point of view for the sake of the story, being kind of everybody working, really. You can't have one person in third, one person in past. So I think everyone's writing first person past tense. Is that it?
Yep.
Yeah. That's so. And then what will happen is that we'll have one umbrella story to what happens to all of these characters when they get to the actual workshop, which is actually in progress. There's a mastermind that hits that thing constantly. We'll see what happens. I don't know. Some of these characters are really interesting. Everyone developed their own character that's coming to this workshop. And so you've got like a Valley Girl type, you've got sort of a family man, you've got good old goth Jenny Olsen, who is John's character, and I'm dying to see her backstory. And then they will all come into this workshop, and someone will basically take the prize, which is his legacy, and other people see. It's a horror book.
You know what's funny about it? When I kind of sent you one, you basically called a good part of our backstory. I knew what kind of story was going to be, and when you did the kind of Lee Matthews writing the bit about each person, I went, you pretty nailed a good chunk of what the backstory was going to be.
Good.
Troubled teen, the whole bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you and I tend to be on the same page with those kind of things, so that doesn't surprise me. Plus, same age, we've lived through a lot of the same crap. I mean, we know what's going to build Jenny. But I am dying to meet her, read her, as I am with other characters. Olivia's got hers in. I think Laura does too. She wrote Dawn. I haven't touched hers yet. But I'm pretty sure she does.
Here too. A big part of my problem with Jenny right now is, and it's the same with when I did Infamy and Beyond the Jungle.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be the weak person in the group. You know what I mean? I don't want my story to be the weak one. So that's always in my head.
Yeah, that's self-doubt though. Cut it out. That's not going to happen. Nobody in there. Everybody in that anthology can carry their weight.
That's the problem. They're all so good, and that's kind of the bigger issue. Is like, oh my God, these are all really good writers. I don't want to.
We all have our own struggles though. Like for Tiffany, she's used to rom-com or love. I mean, so for her, she's sitting there feeling like, my God, I've got to write with John. He's gonna like crush me on this horror angle of it. And then you have like Marin, who, I mean,
won't crush me.
Marin's writing about like a Wilma Jean character though,
yeah, that's true.
See, I still got to do my smutty lying lady. She's got this pathological redneck person. The combination is going to be really cool, and I'm excited to see how they all land, and who Lee decides is the legacy carrier. But yeah, it should be interesting. I don't know about season war anymore. What was that, John?
I can't wait to read that one. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm. So Lee has intimidation too, because Lee's gonna take. I don't even know what's coming at Lee. Coming at you, and now make this all entwined. That's gonna be a tough job.
I think you get 6 different stories that you somehow got to connect and and make work. I don't know if I could do that.
That's the therapist, though. Remember, I run group therapy, so a lot of that's going to apply. I know how to make strangers get in a room, and by the end of the day, a 2-hour group therapy session, they have some level of shared something. And by the time it's done, it's a cohesive group. So I'm going to do that with these characters.
I just kill everyone. That's what I do. I just kill them all off.
People will die, John. Don't worry.
It's like this person's an army. I'm going to kill them off in this book.
Yeah. Yes, Tiffany's in there. She's got a character named Brian, I think, right? Yeah, Brian. And he's like the family man who is, I think he has like 5 kids, but he like takes off and he's not paying child support. I think that's his backstory. Yeah. The gist is that basically all of these characters want to become the next murder maker and take over the legacy of this famous horror author. So anyway, back to your solo stuff though, John. I think what book are you most like excited to write? I know you've got a lot of covers and stories in your head.
That's easy. That's easy. And it's not till 2022 either, but it's one called Sundown.
Oh yeah, the Western.
It's basically a vampire cowboys.
So crazy.
Well, how it happened was Penny's dad. Every time I see him, like whenever we get a new book, we go up there and I give him, it's like, oh, you got to sign it for me. So he goes, he goes, when are you going to write me a cowboy book? And I went, well, if I'm going to write a cowboy book, I'm going to have to. They're going to be wooden bullets shooting vampires. And then the idea just stuck, and I thought of. I just thought of a group of bandits called the Lazarus Brothers. So the Lazarus Brothers going with the vampires coming out of this little town.
That's going to be neat.
My father-in-law is going to be like one of the deputies, because his last name is Pilgrim, so I can actually use Howdy Pilgrim, and
That's brilliant. I love it.
And he might end up being the hero of the piece. I'm not sure yet, but he might end up being the hero of the piece. But that's good. But that one's going to be pretty violent. And it's the same with, actually, let's go back again. When I first signed with Crazy Ink, I remember you telling me, write what you want. Don't, what's the word I'm looking for? Just write what you want. Be as violent as you want, bloody as you want. Don't censor yourself. But I have been doing that a little bit. I've done it with
censoring.
Yeah, a little bit. There was a couple of scenes in Off the Grid that I kind of scaled back a lot, pulled back a little bit. A couple that I didn't add. It's like,
why?
I don't know. I don't know why. I think a lot of it is, you're trying to build an audience early on, so you don't want to go full on violent gore. You want people to go, okay. I think of it like what's the only thing about you put a crab in a pot of water, cold water, and it'll be fine, but you gently raise the heat until you kill it, and it won't try and get out because you're gently raising the heat. So Cradle Robber, Creature Feature is going to be where you're going to get the full Watson, I guess.
You're going to be boiling your readers. Watson, I don't think that's...
They won't even notice. Right now they're on the sauna. They think it's lovely.
It's fire time. You stuck around? Oh, well.
Yeah, some spice in a minute.
I don't think that's the worst idea. Because I have lost readers with things I've done where they're like, I can't with that. And it's like, really, I'll still write the other stuff. but it is what it is. So I think you get to a point where you just say, look, this is who I am. I'm going to be me. I'm not going to apologize anymore. You know? Hi,
And
Sarah.
That's what it's going to be. I mean, moving forward, I've got probably, I think I've got my full list here of what's coming. I can think of probably 3 or 4 that are going to be, that should be really quite distasteful. So Sundown's one I really look forward to. Rotten's another one. I'm doing that journal style. It's going to be a guy who gets a flesh-eating disease, and it's going to be his journal of how he slowly falls apart. So that's going to be really quite gross, hopefully. But yeah, from now on, it's just to hell with it. I'm 52 years old. Who am I trying to impress? I
don't care. Pandemic. Just go full out. Go do it. You've got nothing to lose.
No.
I think it's smart to start that way, but yeah, I mean, just rip it. You're a horror author. Like, people know. They don't, you know.
That's the thing. If someone picks up a horror book and go, oh my God, if someone reads the Dahmer story and goes, he cut the head off a dog, I can't read that, then you're probably not going to want to read my stuff anyway. You know, you probably shouldn't be reading horror, you know, if you're offended by a dog getting head cut off or a baby getting eaten. Little clue there.
Real clue. Thanks, John. Didn't pick that one up already. Yeah, your readers will find you. I mean, I think to write unapologetically, what's more liberating than that? I mean, honestly.
And I think if you do it in a way where it's not, you know, it's actually a part of the story, or it builds the character a little bit, it furthers the story, it's not quite so bad. Like in the kicking back to the creature feature story, but in the scene that I'm talking about, you have to know that everyone in that hospital, children, mothers, it's a maternity hospital, children and mothers alike are in danger from this creature. So you can't be subtle. You have to have a scene where you go, okay, shit could get real pretty quickly here if this thing gets loose.
Yeah.
And, you know, so that scene is going to come early, and it's going to kind of set the tone for the. So people get plenty of time to put it down after like page 20. You go, oh no, it's not for me. But
no, if it's not for them, that's okay. I mean, you know, that's all right. Readers will find you, you know, or not. But you got to be you. Mm-hmm. What do you find the most challenging thing about writing horror?
Originality. Trying to do it original. When I was writing Karaoke Night, I had a death, a killing in my head. And I'm going, I know I've read that before. I know I've seen it somewhere before. So I said to Pete, does this sound familiar to you? And basically the scene is person's tied up, they're getting sliced open, pieces of flesh, getting fed, and the woman's taking a plunger and making them force. That was the scene. And I went, I'm sure I've seen it. She's like, no. So I put it in. But I all the time went with someone to go, oh, you stole that from this book. Oh. So that's like, I think originality, especially when if you try to kill someone, and it's a great conversation. When you try to slaughter someone, you really got to be.
This is crazy. We kill people daily.
I mean, it's like the people always say your Google search history is like, oh my God, what's wrong with this person?
Yeah.
You know, but you have to look for stuff like that, and then even the creatures like an Off the Grid. I wanted a kind of original creature. I knew I wanted to kind of be like a Wendigo, but not quite a Wendigo. So how could I create something that was different than just a Wendigo? So I had a little story that kind of showed how they evolved into what they are, type of thing. So, stuff like that. But originality is definitely the hardest. Because you read so many. I read so many books, and you go, "Oh, that reminds me of. That reminds me of. That reminds me of."
I know.
I don't want to do that. I want to be. Someone go, "Oh, I haven't seen anything like that before." Although I'm sure people read my stuff and go, "Oh, that was like." You know, it's just, you know, it's like subconsciously you're drawn from stuff that you've seen, whether you believe it or not. You're drawn from stuff that you've seen.
Oh, all the time, and it's so bad because it happens. You know, we're in the same circles, and you don't even realize you're doing it, and then you're like, "Oh my God, that looks like I so totally tried to copy so and so," and it was so innocent, but it looks that way, and then people are like, you know, it just gets so ridiculous. It's not always intentional.
The thing is, the people that say, I didn't even give you a second thought when I was doing that. When I write, I'm all in my own head. I'm not thinking about anyone else, or you know, you try and be cognizant of what you're writing and whether it's similar to something else, but I don't think anyone sets out to blatantly copy someone or blatantly steal an idea and kind of run with it in a different direction.
Right. Yeah. No, he knows, Mom. We have, I would say 8 titles, the same title. Titles, they're not a copywritten thing, and these books are so different that I'm not phased. Rena's got one with the same title. Skylar's got one. Titles is a great example of this, where you don't even realize, and then boom, Rena's got cabin, I've got cabin.
You do a search. When I first published Karaoke Night, and you go on and you search Karaoke Night, there's at least 3 or 4 books that are same title, but nothing to do.
Yeah.
Not making. There's an Off the Grid. There's another book called Off the Grid in there. The cover looks exactly the same as my cover, but the stories are completely different. The stories are completely different, but you would look and go, oh, I see what he did. And unfortunately, I was just didn't want to do it. So, but people are going to look and go, oh, that dirty son of a bitch. You can't trust the Scottish. but you don't even know it exists until you write it and put it up there, and then you search for Off the Grid and go, oh.
Yeah. Yeah, what I've started doing is now I just get in the habit. I search because I'm like, I've been accused of it too many times. And it's like, really? I got the idea from a client or whatever it was. But yeah, it happens there. There's only so many stories. Somebody said that every story that ever was is already written. Now I don't believe that for a second.
And it's like the same music stories. I mean, there's only so many ideas, and that's the thing. It goes back to originality. How can you, even if it is something that's a little bit familiar, how do you make it unfamiliar? Is kind of the challenge too.
Rena, my co-write with Olivia, she threw in some nasty twists. One that stands out is a cat and its balls. I mean, there you go, John.
I haven't done that yet.
Yeah, you guys don't need to apologize. I'm fine with that. Like I said, Skylar's got a thing. It's not done intentionally. My issue becomes when it is intentional, when it's blatant. Yeah. They're doing this, so I'm going to do this. What are you doing? Why? There's so many ideas in the world. Yeah. But
I think a lot of people look at what's. I mean, you saw it when Hunger Games Twilight hit big. All of a sudden, everyone was writing, books of 3 dystopian stories with the same kind of format. Everyone was doing it because, like, okay, I'm going to write the next Hunger Games. I'm going to write the next Twilight. And I'm thinking, fuck that. I want to write something. There's the F-bomb again. I apologize. It's like I don't want to not have a book that's popular. I mean, every person who writes and puts a book out wants to sell books and to be popular. But I want to do it on my own terms, not. Okay, this is selling right now. Like zombies, I will never write a zombie book because they're everywhere. I'm not interested in writing a zombie book. Not interested at all.
Because there's so many.
Yeah, you just get lost. Unless I could think of something really, really, really original about how they were created or something like that. But I can no desire to do it now. I've got a couple of little zombie stories in my back pocket that I wrote. Short stories. I got a ton of short. Like when I die, Penny's going to make a fortune. She'll collect all these short stories I got laying around and put in my book. I'll become famous posthumously. I think that's my.
Oh, that's always the worst. Like I always think about that. I'm like, man, people start reading my books when I'm dead. It's gonna take me dying to get these people one click. What the hell?
They better have a goddamn plan to get me in there and tell me how good I am.
There better be an afterlife, damn it. I want to know somebody read my stuff.
Yeah.
Oh God. All right. What is your worst fear? And you can't do Penny dying because we already heard that one. Your worst, or your kids dying. They're too obvious. Like a different fear, not the death of a loved one.
The thing about it, it's another misconception about horror, right? It's like, I'm scared of everything. Everything. Bugs, snakes, the dark, you name it. Everything. When I was a kid, true confession. When I was a kid, apparently, I don't remember it, but my sister said me I was scared of rainbows. I would run away screaming, rainbow. I was scared of
John,
rainbows.
that's weird.
I know.
Okay.
No, I don't know if I believe it. My sisters both tell me it's true that yeah, I would run away, rainbow, and go in the house. Quite frankly, yeah.
Wow.
But
okay.
Yeah,
I wonder if there's a thing for that. I'm looking that up, right? Fear of rainbows. I wonder if there's like a term.
I might be the only person on the planet starting celery. I don't know. But major fear is death. More so for myself, because I don't believe there's anything after this. So it's that, like, I'll lay awake at night and think about it, and that's awake all night.
Yeah.
But like a little bit of everything. It's kind of a little bit of everything. It's terrible.
Torture yourself.
Yeah, like when Penny's on the road, like she's away again this week at night. I have the TV on the bedroom. There's got to be some light in here. Otherwise, it's pitch black. I can't have that.
Can't have that.
No, can't have it.
I think a lot of horror authors are actually that way. And I think maybe part of why you can write horror well is you really understand fear. I don't know.
Stephen King has always said that he will not sleep with his feet hanging off the end of the bed. He's scared that someone will catch him out of the bed.
I can't even sleep without socks on because of that.
No.
Yeah.
A million things.
Okay, so Sarah says the same thing. She's horror and she's afraid of everything too.
Mm-hmm.
She had a squirrel in her, I think it was a garage. I couldn't even barely watch her video because the squirrel was tweaking me out, and here I am over in New Hampshire. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how you have that so close to your car. So yeah, I hear you.
We had a snake in the house a week and a half ago. I get up and I look on the floor and I go, is that a snake? And Penny looks and goes, that's a snake.
Don't even, dude, I will jump out of my skin in the middle of the day.
One of those little grass snakes. But God almighty, that thing was moving real fast, and Penny's up on the couch. Penny's up on the couch screaming at me, be a man, for God's sake.
Oh, poor Penny. You two cracked me up.
I got it out. I got a broom and I managed to corner it and swept it out. God,
did you do your shrieking, John? No,
I
did. Oh God, yeah. Well, no, I think it's.
I physically shut myself.
Oh yeah, I believe it. I'm like that too. I'm like, yeah. My kid just told me the other day there's not rats, mice in his closet. I'm like, that's a personal problem. You don't even open your door if those mice, but they're cute. I think they're babies. I don't give a shit what they are. Get them away from me. Yeah.
Oh, well, let me tell you this. We escaped it. Luckily, we live in a condo. It's probably an hour. That's what I went to. 6 units in our little building.
Right.
Well, there was one that had lain empty for a long time, and every unit's got a little storage unit out back. So they left the door open. Now, right behind us, a nice big patch of grass behind us. Then there's an auto wrecking place right behind that. So beyond the trees, you hear the cars getting crushed all day, every day, which is where one of the stores in Karaoke night came from. But rats are in there all the time. So these rats got into this unit, up and through the roofs, and we're all through the condos. They were about 4 doors down. Next door to us, they've got a hole in the roof above the washer dryer, and they would lay in bed and they hear thump, thump.
No, thank you.
Roof into the goddamn washer dryer. And I'm sitting at home. This is when Penny's on the road again. I'm sitting at home going, if I see a goddamn rat, that's it. My life is over. This is how I'm going to die. Heart attack from seeing a rat. But luckily they got it fixed before they reached us.
Oh, John. Yeah, that
another week of no sleep. What was that?
That's what it is. Horror authors are actually the biggest wimps in the world. I don't know. All right, John, we got 10 minutes-ish. So what do you want to talk about? Does anybody have questions for him? Like, you guys have got to have questions. This is a Watson uncensored situation here.
Ask anything.
Ask anything.
I don't care.
Would you rather be trapped in a room with 8 huge sewer rats, or like, I don't know, a big box of tarantulas? I'm stalling, John.
What sick, twisted son of a bitch asked that question?
I don't know. I've been stuck in this house for 6 weeks. I'm crazy.
I think maybe tarantulas. Maybe tarantulas.
Tarantulas.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, me too. I don't like either one. I don't.
Neither one's a good option.
Okay. Michelle has a good, decent question that isn't so crazy. Favorite non-horror book and author?
Oh, that's the easy one. Is To Kill a Mockingbird. To Kill a Mockingbird I've read countless times. Countless times. Favorite book overall is Magica by Clive Barker. That's Magica by Clive Barker is the only book I've read. Got the last page, turned it over and started reading again right away, back to back. Only book.
Wow, that's flattering.
To Kill a Mockingbird is. I mean, to me, Clive Barker is the bar. I mean, I know most horror authors say Stephen King. For me, it's Clive Barker. He writes. He can make the grotesque sound beautiful. It's unbelievable. So, but non-horror, To Kill a Mockingbird.
Have you started Cradle Robber yet? That's no. From Rena.
I haven't typed anything yet, but it's all in. Everything's in my head. It's like when I go to write it, I just flip. It's like I always explain it like a Rolodex. I have notes on every book in my head. They're basically finished in there, so I flip. When it's time to write it, I'll flip, and I know exactly where I am, character name, how it's going to go, from start to finish.
There's no way I could do that. I would not remember. But I have like notebooks.
I can't do it at the same time. I can't. Okay, write a book and then start the next one. You know, at the same time, I have to finish one and then start the next one. But reading, I read 3 or 4 books at a time. I'll read 3 chapters and go, okay, next. I can read 3 or 4 chapters of that. I can do that with reading. Writing, I can't do it. It has to be write it, finish, next one. But they're all there. They're all written in my head.
She says she's waiting. You need to haul ass, John.
That one will come pretty quick. As soon as I do, I'll finish. I think within the next week and a half, I'll finish Be Kind Rewind. Then I'll get Jenny done. I just got to get her out of the way. Just do it, not think about it. Stop thinking about it, just write her.
Get her out of the way.
And then I'll do send her to Elite Kill Off. Then I'll probably start churning out Cradle Robber. It's going to be a quick one. That one, I think.
Is it a novella? Why don't I remember that one?
Yeah, it's a novella. Cradle Robber's the creature feature series.
Oh, okay. Duh, that's why. All right. What upcoming book are you most excited to write? That's from Diana.
That would be Sundown. The Sundown, the Cowboy Vampires. The Greys I'm looking forward to, the alien one that everyone's freaked out by the cover. The Greys is up there too.
I'm looking forward to what is the one? Blood. What is the one with the queen on it?
The Bathory one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's.
Let's get into it.
I'm still trying to figure out how to go with it, and there was something you said on one of your YouTube videos. It was going to just be a basic her telling the story. But I don't think I want to do that now because you did a video. You said it's more interesting when a secondary character tells the story of that person. So I'm trying to kind of figure out a way for a secondary character to tell her story, and I've got kind of an idea. I've got kind of an idea how I might do it. Of a big kind of twist ending in the whole, but I don't know if I'm going to go. I don't know if I'm going to go with that way yet. So.
Right.
That's too far in the future. That's probably the one.
Don't.
That's probably the one that's least formed in my head. I've got like 13 coming in the next 2 years.
I can tell.
It's probably the one that's least because I have to read about her too. I've got a
research.
I've got a research book, full book that's like 600 pages, nothing about her. So I have to read that and kind of get inside her more and figure out how that's going to go.
Diana's saying the Greys. She's totally right. I forgot about that one too with the alien head.
Yeah, everyone's
got a lot coming.
13, I think there's 12 or 13 still to come between now and like August 2022.
Is that in Crazy Town?
Yeah.
The Greys?
Yeah.
Okay, they're neighbors of mine. Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah. Mia's stories, you can read them stand alone, but they're going to kind of bleed together a little bit.
That's right. Yep, I remember. gosh, it feels like ages ago, but yet just recent. It's so crazy how time works.
Well, same even with. I was looking at karaoke, and it's like that's a year. It's maybe a year next month. That's been a. No, that doesn't seem like it. It just feels like it still feels like it was, just last month.
Diana's excited for all of them, but we knew that. She's Diana. She's like our biggest cheerleader.
Oh yeah, it's amazing. I don't think I'd be selling. I don't think I'd be selling a single book right now if it wasn't for her.
You don't think you'd have a book? Oh, be selling?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. We need all the help we can get right now. It's just tough. It'll get better. I just keep telling myself that.
You just gotta keep doing what you're doing. For me, it's like I can just go, okay, well, I'm not going to do it until this is all over. What's the point? I'd be sitting here staring at the wall. Might as well write.
Well, right. That's my thing too. It's like, well, what is your other option?
Yeah.
Cleaning the house? No. All right. Thanks.
That's not happening.
Not that. You can only rake the lawn so many times. Like eventually it's like, okay, I'll go back to default.
The only time I pick up a broom is to get a snake out of the house. I mean, that's
it. No. All right. Any last questions, guys? I appreciate all of you for coming out today and John has definitely got some cool books coming, cool books out there. I'm so excited for this Be Kind Rewind now. I don't know why I had a whole different idea of what it was, but this sounds even cooler. So
it's probably close to what you think it's going to be. It's kind of I'll give you a little clue. It's kind of a take on Dorian Gray, but in the VCR world, but not really. It's
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah. I think it's gonna make me cry.
Well, that's my goal. My goal was to.
Oh well, then there you go. You'll probably win. I'm good at crying.
It's always to make Penny cry. Penny cried off the grid.
Your love is so amazing. Be a man. You better cry.
I wrote a chapter in there that was supposed to be, quite. It's without giving too much away. It's after the husband find out that his wife's been attacked in the subway, and he's trying to get there. So I was trying to create a sense of urgency while he's in the cab, and she's crying reading it. And I said, "What are you crying about?" It's a horror book. She goes, "I imagine myself in that cab and you being the one that I'm trying to get to." She goes, "I can't take it. I can't take it. You son of a bitch."
Oh my God. Write a book where you literally have you as the character and then kill yourself. It sounds so bad. I don't mean to bad, but make her, like, the whole point is making Penny ball.
She would either divorce me or slice me up in the night with a big bag of chef knife.
You can blame me. Erin made me do it. She just wanted to see if you cry. We're sick.
No, I'll post it up somewhere. I wrote a story years ago, and the goal was to make her cry. So I wrote one that I wrote it in one night. Just went, okay, I'll write this short little story, probably a couple of 1,000 words, and sure as shit, yeah, she cried. But that was the goal, was to make her cry.
Well, hey, winning. It's the little things, John. Sometimes. Favorite type of vacation. What type of vacation have you not tried that you want to try?
Cruise.
That's coming from Michelle. Cruise.
I love doing a cruise.
She's smart. She's plugging her business.
I know.
Plugging her industry.
Cruise. Favorite vacation was Vegas. Man, I love going to Vegas. It's my favorite.
You've never been to Vegas?
No, I've been 100 times. But it's my favorite place to go.
I hate Vegas.
Really? Oh, I love it. I'm sick of it after 3 days. It's like it's enough. Okay, it's enough. I've had enough. New York City, I love. My daughter lives there. See,
I hate New York City too. So that's what it is. We don't like the same places.
First time I went to New York, the first 24 hours was like, this is madness. I got to get out of here. I can't stay here for 3 days. But then you kind of get used to the rhythm of the place and the noise, and it all just, once you kind of get that out of the way, love it. I love it there.
Not me.
Drink in a different place every night. You could live there for years and never drink at the same place twice. I love it. I love it there.
That's my problem. I like routines and patterns, and land? I don't know, John. Obviously, I'm a country girl. I own this.
See, and I probably should, because the town I grew up in Scotland was a small little place.
Yeah.
But it's only, I mean, everything in Scotland's close by. Jump the train, 20 minutes or somewhere. Right. But the city Glasgow was like 20 minutes up the motorway on the bus. You were right in the city. From there, you would jump on a train. 35 minutes, you're in Edinburgh. You know.
Wow.
So I mean, everything was close. Where we lived was small, and you felt like you lived in this tiny wee village, but in reality, you were, you know, everything was just right around the corner.
See, that's best of both worlds. I'm still 2.5 hours from Boston, which sucks because it's too far, and I do like Boston a lot. So
yeah, I think that's what I like where we are. It's a city. It's a small city, and we're about 30 miles north of Atlanta. If you want to go down there, it's easy to get there, but it just feels like a small little town. It's got that kind of, it's quiet, you know.
How far are you from Savannah?
Savannah's probably, I think, about a 6-hour drive.
How long?
Probably 6 hours, 6-hour drive.
Oh, that's a while. I thought it was closer. I love Savannah.
Oh, I want to go back. I love it there. It's just that place has got a feel about it. I mean, for someone who writes horror, if you just sat there for a night and just the stuff would come to you.
I know. I think that is the prettiest city. And I mean, I lived in Sydney, Australia, but Savannah is just, I keep telling my kid, look, if you're going to leave me anyway and move in the South, go to Savannah. He doesn't want to listen.
I love it.
It's gorgeous. All right, guys, we are about out of time. John, if you could email me all your links, like, or PM, whatever, I'll throw them in the description so that anybody wants to follow, stalk, you know, all that jazz with John, that'd be awesome.
Kill me in the night.
He is followed. Kill him in the night. That's great, John. Make sure Penny reads about it. Would be awesome. He's got a lot of great things coming. So anything else you want to say, John? You good?
Yep, thanks for having me.
You're welcome. We'll do it again. This was fun.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, talk to you later, guys. Until next time.
Thanks.
Bye-bye. All right.